Welcome to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I am Beth Cooper.
I'm Stacey Earlywine, and Beth has brought something to my attention.
I did.
That is making me laugh a lot today.
And she's got the giggles. So we're recording this on Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025.
I don't even know what year it is.
And so apparently the rapture is supposed to happen today, according to the people on the internet. So
they know it all.
They are saying that today is the Jewish day of the feast or something like that.
Do they have this a lot?
I don't know anything about it, but somebody out there made a prediction, did some math, and said, this is the day.
This is the day, this is the day that the Lord has made.
That the Lord has made. So anyway.
I'm just cracking up about it.
We, as Christians, find it funny because the Bible specifically says no one will know the date or the time. And
I mean, I would welcome it. I'm ready for Jesus to come back. That nothing's going to be better than seeing that sky open up and see the King of Kings comes back.
Mm-hmm. I'll be ready whenever.
I'll be ready whenever, but it's not.
But I really don't think it's going to be today, just because somebody said it was. Because now I'm like 100% sure it's not today.
I know. Gave me nothing to look forward to. Yeah. We're not going to know when the rapture happens, and it's specifically stated in biblical. Yeah. But it is funny.
Uh-huh.
But you know, I have actually talked to people, and I've actually talked to some Christians who like want to survive it.
Oh no,
the end of times, because I'm assuming the end of times people mean the rapture of Christ, right?
Yeah, I just want to go instantly.
I did. Have you watched that Left Behind series?
I haven't. No, I don't.
I mean, because like all of a sudden you're just talking to somebody and you're gone to the clothes.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's people that are selling their cars right before which I don't even understand, quitting their jobs, and it's like they're making huge life choices based on a prediction that's probably not going to come true. And why bother
if you don't come in the next day? They know you were raptured.
Yeah, I didn't follow their train of thought, like selling their cars. Like, what do you need that wealth for? You can't take it with you.
Nope, not going with you.
So they just want someone else to own their car. Oh, and there's people that are making arrangements for their pets with non-Christians so that their friends will take care of their dogs and cats after they're
I would be
raptured.
Mortified if somebody came over and said, oh, by the way, the rapture's coming. Will you take Fluffy? Because I know you're not going.
Yeah, it'd be like, wait, I thought I was going with you. You're judging me and saying I'm not going.
I'm dying laughing.
Oh, people.
Oh, yeah, if anybody knocks on my door today, yeah, I'll be like, no, I think I'm going up, buddy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, that Left Behind series is it's an interesting. I liked it. I only watched it there's been like 2 or 3 of them, I think. I don't know. I think I only watched the first one, but it was kind of an interesting thing because it does make you wonder. I mean, when it does I don't know. You've got people like talk pre-tribulation, tribulation, and post. I don't really care. I don't care to study that. I've studied Revelations a little bit, but it's really not in my realm of thought process because I mean, if I study it and I understand it, is it going to matter? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know because whatever God decides to do, He's going to do. And I don't care if we're pre-tribulation. I don't care if it's. But I don't know. I mean, it's not like I'm going to be like, you know what, Jesus, not a fan of this plan. He's going to be like, well, Stacey Earlywine said this is not a good one.
Yeah, no.
I don't think it's happening.
No. We're just going to.
I don't think I mean, yeah,
just going to trust Him.
I mean, because Jesus isn't Jim. So it's not like I'm going to have any influence over him. I don't even have any influence over Jim.
Yeah, I start saying, you actually do. Sometimes Jim likes to pretend you don't have any influence over him, but you do.
I pretty much have
You know exactly how to work him. She does. If she wants something, she gets it.
I'm the queen of that. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm the queen of that.
So what have you been up to?
Well, lots of stuff.
Yeah?
I think I'm still exhausted from the cemetery tour.
Yeah, me too. So
what a good night, though.
Oh, my
gosh.
Weather-wise. If you missed Shadows of Elmwood this year, you missed a really good time. We're kind of going to go over some of the highlights, I think.
Yeah, we're going to I'm going to do a couple of the skits. I'm still surprised. That was year 11. This year was year 11, right? And I'm still surprised at people that have no idea
what it's
about.
I know. So not just throwing anyone under the bus because I don't know their names or who they were, but a couple of our actors went over to Huck's before the cemetery tour started, which it starts at the Historic Depot in Flora, which is directly across the street from Huck's. And they're like, what are you doing? And they're like, oh, we're getting ready. We're in the cemetery tour this year. We're actors and we're getting ready to start. And they were like, ooh, isn't that like a haunted thing? Like, you don't look very scary. And they're like, no, it's not haunted. It's historic. We represent citizens that have lived here in the past, and we tell the story of their lives. And they're like, no. They tried to argue with him. No, it's a haunted thing. And they were like, no, it isn't. And they're like, no, I'm pretty sure it's always been like a haunted trail ride. And they were like, where have you been? You've been in this town this whole time, and every year it's stressed. This is not a scary or haunted thing. It is
Totally
a historic, interesting thing about Flora's past.
Yeah.
And so,
no,
anyway.
I like it, and I like the fact that the actors were taking the very first one. I remember we didn't even have chairs to sit in, and we stood the whole time, and that was a long day. I mean, because we get out there at 4:00, and and we weren't getting out till like 11 because at that time,
Later than that.
Rotary, it was late because Rotary didn't stop selling tickets. If people showed up at 9:30, we were still selling tickets. Praise the Lord, though. They
used smaller trailers. So not as many people could go through at a time. And there were years that I don't think I got home till like 2:00 in the morning.
Oh yeah, that first couple, and then like that first one. We stood we had no chairs. And it's like, okay, I almost died. And that very first one, I think Friday night, melting hot. Melting. It was myself, and then I was with Ben and Jill Van Heining, and then two other people, and Mitchell was there, and I think Miley may have been. It was the man that murdered his family. And I didn't even have a name. They didn't even know the lady's name. Oh my gosh, it was absolutely miserable. And then the second night, we still didn't have chairs because this is the first time anybody even, Rotary even done it and everything. And then the second night was freezing. Absolutely freezing.
Yeah, big cold front came through.
But the night before,
miserable.
God, eaten alive.
Now,
eaten alive by bugs. It was awful.
So we all learned a lot, and we all carry bug spray with us. The bugs the last 2 years have been a lot worse than prior years, simply because we're using different lighting, which I get. We need better lighting after it gets dark. But for the actors, that means way more bugs. And it's really
I'm still kind of on the fence on it,
I'm
man.
kind of on a fence, too. Honestly, I kind of vote for going back to the lanterns and the bags.
I go back to the lanterns, and then it's not like we don't have kids. We can have little spotlights.
Yeah, they shine a light on us.
Lights. And I couldn't see a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, those lights, like you turn them on, it's like... And it's bright. I didn't even know who was on the wagon.
Yeah,
when it came dark. I would like to go back to the lanterns. And I would rather have
the bugs
kids
just
have a
about
spotlight.
Carried us away. And it's hard to, like, as an actor, you're saying your lines, but I'm not talking just mosquitoes. The mosquitoes were horrible. These are like the big summer bugs that are attracted to light that buzz. And they come around and they're just out of nowhere. You got these big moths and these big buzzing things. And they'll go down. Like I had one that went down the back of my shirt. I had two that went down the front of my dress. Yeah. Now my dress was not super low cut, but it was a little low cut. And I have to try to continue my lines, but there is bugs in my bra. That's crazy.
You had yours going. I had one come up my dress.
Oh my gosh!
So as I'm trying to do my line, there's something crawling up my leg.
Talk about distracting.
And I was like,
and I will say,
this
was our 11th year I've been out there. Never have I had that happen until we brought in the lights. That happen. And it's a real bummer. But anyway, it's better for the people.
Spotlight, I don't know.
It's better for the people watching, I suppose. But anyway, so that was. But I mean, the weather. It was very hot and sticky. The humidity was like. I felt like I was dripping in moisture.
I think it came and went.
The first night it wasn't too bad.
But you were in the sun.
Yes, we were in the sun. The first night the sun went down and there was a breeze and that was great. The second night we were in the sun went down. It was just that thick, still.
That's what I told
Connor.
And
nothing was moving. And even though the sun went down, it was heavy.
Close.
It was heavy. Yeah,
it was heavy. I was the very last skit this year.
Yes, you were.
I've only been on the last skit twice now. The first time I had Matt Levitt with me, so I wasn't scared. This was a little bit. I was by myself, and it was a little intimidating because it was dark over there, and I got that tree line right there. And I'm sitting there, and it's getting dusk, and I'm seeing the leaves move, and it's starting to get really dark.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, if that was a little critter, it should be down lower. And I'm looking, and I hear snorting.
What was it?
A deer.
Oh, my.
A very large deer, just from me to that TV.
Oh,
and
my.
I'm like, is he going to hang out? Is he going to stay over there?
So what'd you do?
I just ignored him like he didn't exist.
Oh, I would have made some
I was
noise, and
afraid.
he probably would have taken
I didn't know
off.
what to do.
He
Mac
would
was
have.
like, you should have went, you know.
He would have bolted if he knew you were there.
But yeah, but it was just kind of because like you're over there and it's getting dark. I'm by myself. I freak myself out anyway.
Uh-huh.
You know, I'm that person because you're like,
Yeah, well, I've been in that spot twice.
wow, it's really dark.
Once it was just me and one other man, and another time there was a group of us. There's a plot there with a family named Allmiller, the Allmillers.
Mm-hmm.
I set my stuff near their grave, and I got on a first name basis with them, and I was like, hey, Allmillers, like, I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to set my stuff nearby. I was talking to them through the whole thing, and actually I found it comforting. Like, even when I was out there and I was just me and the other guy, and we were kind of each doing our own thing, I was like, oh, I got the Allmillers here.
Yeah.
I don't know who they
Yeah.
I don't remember
Yeah.
now their first names, but
Well,
you
by
just kind of
yourself-
needed to be like,
By yourself's a game changer.
Yeah.
It was scary.
Yeah.
It gave me. I guess I shouldn't say scary. I don't want to use that word, but me being by myself
gave
on a
you the
wagon.
heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, and I was right by the Tackets, so
Uh-huh.
I did the same thing about the Tackets. I went around to the Tackets and was like, "Oh, and I would talk, And then there was the young girl that died, and I walked over her, and there's a picture of her, and I'm like, "Oh, I said, gosh, I really wish I knew what happened to you." And and I say a lot of when I go in there, and this is just me because I do have a little bit of a weirdness to me. When I'm with a group of people. When I go into the cemetery, because I do believe in spirits and attachments and that type of thing, I go in full armored with prayer. I go in there with prayer. When I sit down, I pray. Let us not only let us be respectful to who we're portraying,
Oh, right, but protect us from any evil.
Because not everybody in the cemetery was good.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Not everybody out there
I do
is
the
good,
same thing.
and I wanted to prick myself, but I did get. Well, it didn't help that my sisters, because I'm like, didn't think about this. I'm by myself over here, and I'm kind of like, and there's a big, but when you're just sitting there, you hear snort, and I'm like,
oh my gosh.
what is that over there? Yeah, and then because then it got dark, and so I'm seeing like a couple of glowing eyes.
Oh my gosh.
Because the deer, and I'm like.
Well,
Are you a deer, Mr.
Yeah.
Deer?
Yeah.
Please stay there.
Yeah.
And then I didn't know what to do. But yeah, I did fine. And the first night was worse than the second night. But because I was like, man, I'm a little bit intimidated over here.
I've been by myself twice out there in the cemetery, but neither time was in that dark corner.
I've been
It was
out
near the
there by
front.
myself too when I did Myrtle Banhart, but I wasn't over there. Didn't have a bit of problem. That's what I was.
Here's the
even
thing
left of
about
this. But over
Elmwood.
there's no. But it's dark over there.
Here's the thing about Elmwood Cemetery is, I've spent a lot of hours in that cemetery over the years, and there are some areas of that cemetery that I just carefree walk through. Nothing bothers me. There are other areas of that cemetery that I don't really care to be in.
I agree.
They have a different feeling.
I agree. I did the same thing. Because I like to walk in the cemetery. I will walk the first two, but I usually, like where I was at, I don't like that area. Over there on that far south side gives me the heebie-jeebies. And I don't like the far west side.
That's the side I was talking about.
I don't like that far west side. Because I was doing the loop, and I'm like, I'll just get an extra walk in. And I walked around that, and the entire time I was walking, I was like,
yeah. Well, we
just
had
go. Don't, just...
So we had to park our cars in that far west side. And
Yeah.
I hope nobody watching is like, well, that's where my plot is, or that's where my friend is buried, or whatever. But I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It just has a different feeling.
different
And
feeling.
none of us were comfortable walking to our cars back there. It just,
Yeah,
it kind of gave us the heebie-jeebies.
there's a
just
heaviness back there.
But the rest of the cemetery,
just
especially where
Trixie-
we were standing, we were fine.
Oh, I Trixie, that area. I like it. 'Cause I love going by Samuel White. There's something about it when I go by Samuel White's grave that I like.
Oh, which, speaking of Samuel White, the founder of Flora, we still want to work on his plot area and clean up his gravestones, and there's like a chain fence around it, and clean all that up.
Yes.
If there's anybody watching that would be interested in helping us with that, please send us an email at, by the way, with Beth and Stacey at gmail.com. We don't know how to go about it. We don't know. There's like, there's stuff that you can use on those old stones, but there's other stuff you can't use because it will damage it. So if there's any professionals or amateurs that have done this before that would like to work on that project, we would love to have your help.
We definitely need that.
Okay, you got an ad for today?
I do, and I love popsicles.
I do too.
And I got a
banana.
Banana's my favorite. And Jim buys me these popsicles he gets out at Walmart. Not these, but they look like that kind. Go ahead, do that. Put that up there. But mine are sugar free. But look how cute this is.
That pure orange flavor.
Look at this. I love this popsicle ad. Yeah, caught the baseball glove. That pure orange flavor. Naturally, popsicle, the king of all cooling refreshments, is available in a host of other delicious flavors. You'll find them wherever good ice cream is sold. In bags with polka dots that youngsters save for exciting gifts.
Okay.
So this is one of those things that says, save these bags for swell gifts. Popsicle, Joe Low Corporation, New York City.
Okay.
How is that neat? So you save that, and apparently, what was it that you saved? We did a thing on it. You saved those receipts and you sent them in.
Oh.
Come on, not
like
receipts.
A grocery store,
like the
coupons, the stamps.
The stamps, yeah.
Well, I'm a little confused about this. So those popsicles are not wrapped in plastic, because back then plastic was probably not really hardly ever used. They're just frozen, and then they're stuck in this box, and then you're supposed to reuse the box, but the inside of the box is not sticky from the popsicle previously stored inside.
Well, I think you're supposed to send them in.
What?
Right?
No, I don't think so.
Save these bags for swell gifts. I'm assuming that you benefit from it.
I'm assuming they want you to wrap your buddy's birthday present with it.
Well, it says in bags with polka dots that youngsters save for exciting gifts. What does that mean now?
Well, the box has that bag or box or whatever it is.
It's a bag.
It has polka dots on it. I think they're just saying this is a reusable bag. Your popsicles come with a reusable bag.
See, now
never mind that it's covered in syrup on the inside.
I almost think it's the opposite, like those one. I'll have to message Jim because he used to save them. They were like stamps you'd get at grocery stores for certain things, and then you'd send them in, and then you get toys.
I don't know. Ty, see if you can Google that.
Yeah, see what I'm talking about. But anyway, I thought that was a cool ad. So now we need to find out what we're going to do with that.
Okay. Interesting.
But anyway, we need to take a commercial break.
Okay. We'll be right back.
We'll be back.
This is Christy, inviting you to wrap yourself in lasting luxury at Carnaby Square. We specialize in one-on-one customer service, high quality, head-turning, on-trend fashions, footwear, accessories, and a complete line of Brighton leather goods and jewelry. If you want to nix fast fashion and invest in a true-to-size, ethically manufactured wardrobe that you'll wear for years, it's time to treat yourself at Carnaby Square in downtown Fairfield.
Briscoe Surplus Sales on the northeast edge of Flora is your one-stop do-it-all shop. Looking for rugged boots and footwear from great brands like Lacrosse, Rocky, and Carolina? They're there. How about top-notch small engine parts and service? Briscoe Surplus Sales has it. Whether you're wiring your switches or switching your wiring, Briscoe Surplus Sales has the solution and the know-how to help you get the job done right the first time. Briscoe Surplus Sales, your one-stop do-it-all shop.
We like technology at Flora Savings Bank. Here's what you can accomplish in our mobile banking app in less than 30 seconds. See account balances in your transactions, set up an account alert, make a transfer between accounts, get an alert text message about your transfer, pay a bill, turn your debit card off and then back on. It all happens in the palm of your hand with our free My Bank to Go app. Search My Bank to Go in the App Store or Google Play and give mobile banking a try. Flora Savings Bank, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Here we're back, Beth.
Okay, we're back. Welcome back.
That's what I think.
By the way,
just said.
Is that the name of our show? By the way, with Beth and Stacey.
How'd you get all those? Did you print them all out?
No. So I am a writer for the cemetery tour, so I go to the writers' meeting, so I get access to every single one of the scripts.
Awesome. Is there any that we can do a show on that we haven't done before? Because I know some of the things we've covered. I mean, we've done shows on.
Yes. I think that almost all of these were ones that we have previously done.
I was going to say, because we really helped a lot with the cemetery.
We did.
Too.
We had a lot of ideas
funneled.
for them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we funneled a lot of stuff.
So
Okay.
I think I'm missing a few here. 1, 2, 3.
I don't even know how many skits
5,
there were this year.
6, 7. I only have 8 right here, and there's 10.
9,
there's
10.
10.
Do you have mine?
I don't have yours. So there's 10 that are in the cemetery, and then there's usually 2 at the depot for
And I
a
know
total
for a
of
fact
12.
Matt
12
Lovett
skits.
covered one of the men we did, the baseball player.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I got his here.
Yeah, but anyway, so I said, we just came off this long weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm old, and it takes me a long time to recover anymore. So I thought, with everybody still, talking, and I don't think we've ever done anything like this. It's like, I'm going to read verbatim so people understand what we're doing.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to read. This is, I'm going to read everything about this skit so people can get an idea if you haven't ever gone, instead of just telling the story, that they actually realize these are written skits by people like yourself, and we're actually acting. Oh, and I know I was going to say on the last one, I like the fact that, because I think the actors, we kicked it up a notch this year. We do. I like taking props.
I like taking
and
props,
sitting.
too.
I like the visual of it.
I do, too.
The very first year, we just stood there in costume, and now... and we put rugs down because then that does help with the bugs. But no, I like the visual aspect of
Me
it
too.
Don't you?
Yeah,
think?
our skit had a kitchen table, very nice tablecloth. We all had chairs around it. We had fried chicken on the table. We were passing
real
it
fried
around.
chicken?
Yeah, real fried chicken.
Maybe that's why you had so many bugs. Did you eat the fried chicken?
The weird thing about nobody ate the fried chicken. The weird thing about the fried chicken was that not even the bugs were landing on the fried chicken. I mean, so the fried chicken was fresh at 4 p.m. on Friday. It was the same fried chicken at midnight on Saturday. So it, we threw it to the raccoons when it was over. We threw it out in the brush pile at the back of the cemetery.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Now that's funny. Okay, well, so here's one of the skits, and this was a skit about the Hemphill family and the masonry business. So, there were 4 people in this skit. The one man portrayed Little Harry, that was Stephen Smith. Another man portrayed Charles, that was Daniel Fope. And then Harry Sr. was played by Jim Earlywine, and Bill was played by Connor Earlywine. So I'm just going to, like I said, I just want to kind of read this down so you can see, because I just still can't believe how many people are so confused by how this goes. So it's like a real written out script.
Everybody memorizes their
lines, but here it is. Okay. The skit will open with 3 Hemphill brothers, Little Harry, Charles, and Bill, working on the beginning of a brick structure, which Jim took that brick structure to a whole new level.
I know. He had serious props out there.
And somewhat bickering and sparring back and forth. This is my family. That's what we do. Then blah, blah, blah. Little Harry, okay, so... And then she said, Stacey has some of their old bricklaying tools. We want this set for the scene. So we're actually guiding them on what to do. And then it talks about, Little Harry, my uncle Little Harry was the messiest, but a perfectionist. Charles was the fastest, but was perfectly level. And my dad was by far the strongest and the neatest. So it opens with Little Harry to his son Charles. Slow down. Backing up to eye the work thus far. I'm liking the looks of that. I'm not liking the looks of that. I don't think that row looks level. Charles then says to Little Harry, who is his brother, Harry, just back off. You know I'm always the fastest of all 3 of us, and my work is always perfectly level. That's why Dad always wants me to begin all of the jobs, and then for you guys to follow my lead, so they'll be done right. Little Harry, rolling his eyes. Yeah, whatever. Hey, where's Billy? We're about to run out of bricks. Enter Bill carrying a huge stack of bricks. Hey guys, where do you want these? Hurry and tell me so I can set them down and tidy up this work site before you guys get any further along and making a bigger mess. Little Harry and Charles in unison. Billy, it's fine. They always call my dad Billy because he was the baby.
Okay.
Enter Harry Sr., father to the 3 boys. Boys, quit your bickering. I know you all think you may be the boss on any given day, but as long as I'm around, I'm the boss. Besides, we just got another job called in to added to our to-do list is already a mile long. Harry Sr. looking at the wagon for the first time. Hello, folks. What was I thinking not introducing myself and telling you a little bit about the Hemphill family and these yahoos here of mine? So now he's addressing the people on the wagon. Henry Sr. still speaking. I'm Harry Hemphill, Harry Sr., pointing to the boys as he introduces them as they continue to work. These are 3 of my 4 boys. Little Harry, or Harry Jr. We know he's not little, but he is a junior. But he's going to be referred to as Little Harry the majority of his life, which I think every single person that knew him called him Little Harry.
Uh-huh.
This is Charles, my second son. And this is Bill, or Billy, my youngest boy. I've got another son, Harold, who works for the city of Flora. Harry Sr. still speaking. You may have heard my family because we pride ourselves on our masonry work and are responsible for building many of the brick structures in and around Clay County. Little Harry says, Hey, Dad, tell them how we ended up in Flora. Henry Sr. Well, the year was 1936. FDR's New Deal was in full swing, trying to pull our great country out of its worst economic crisis ever, the Great Depression. Our federal government was ordering a lot of federal buildings to be built to try to boost the economy. Flora was to get a new post office, and, of course, they wanted the structure to be well built, to be out of brick, to be long-lasting. If I'm not mistaken, the structure still stands today on East North Avenue. I'm sure you all have been there. He's talking about our post office. Harry Sr. continuing. My father, John Hemphill, a well-known mason in the St. Louis area. In fact, we lived in an area right by St. Louis called Overland, Missouri. Well, Dad got the call that they were interested in him and his sons to come to Flora to do the work. So my dad, along with myself and my other 2 brothers, Monroe and Robert, packed up and headed to Flora to begin construction on the post office. Well, while we were there, things happened and I met the love of my life, Iris Martin. We were young, only 16 and 14.
Oh, my.
Yeah, my grandmother was 14 whenever.
Oh, my.
Yeah. But young and in love. We got married and headed back to Overland when the job was completed. Back then, good jobs were scarce coming out of the Depression. Iris had a cousin, Joe Johnson, who asked if he could come along with us and learn the trade. After some years passed, and our first 3 sons were born, Joe tumbled to his death from scaffolding while we were working on the Sears and Roebuck building in St. Louis. And Joe Johnson, when he died, was only 18 years old.
That's so
when
sad.
he fell off the scaffolding.
I think we talked about him on another episode.
Yeah. After that devastating accident, Iris and I talked, and we decided we'd like a slower-paced life and a slower community. So, with our first 3 sons in tow, we packed up the family and we headed back to Flora. Charles says, and to never leave again. We all made our home. We all made Flora our home. But, boy, those were some busy, memorable years. Little Harry says, they certainly were. I was into boxing. In fact, I had become a Golden Glove champion while over in St. Louis, in the St. Louis area. But once we relocated to Flora, I gave up boxing and worked full-time for the business because Hemphill Masonry had taken off like wildfire. Bill. We all loved growing up in Flora and attending Flora Township High School. We all married hometown gals, played sports in high school, then the military played a big role in our lives. Little Harry says, right, I joined the Navy and was mostly stationed in Guam for 3 years. I became a part of the CBs, later shortened just to the letters CBs, which stood for Construction Battalion. Here, my background of building came in handy as I helped in construction and constructing airstrips, docks, and warehouses as a carpenter's mate first class. Charles says, I graduated from Flora Township High School as valedictorian and had a full ride scholarship to West Point. I, too, thought serving for our country was more important and instead immediately joined the Navy and was on the USS Bunker Hill in the Pacific Theater during World War II. I rose to rank of Chief Master Sergeant and serving my country, foregoing my scholarship, and being able to return to our family business was all worth it.
Wow.
Yeah, my Uncle Charles he looked like a young Robert Redford and
Oh.
was incredibly intelligent.
You know, Robert Redford passed away this week.
I know. I can't take it. He was so
know.
handsome. Bill says, I too graduated from Flora Township High School and had a football scholarship to SIU. After I got down there, I started having pain in my leg, and it was discovered that I had a blood clot. I was sent home because playing football was not going to be feasible for my health. I enlisted and was sent to the Korean War. I wasn't there very long when I got orders issued by Congressman George Shipley to return home. My dad had been diagnosed with a brain tumor and didn't have much longer to live. Harry Sr. says, maybe some of y'all are interested in some of the things that Hemp Hill Masonry built in and around the country, and around the community. Bill says, yeah, Dad, remember when you and the older boys were working on the smokehouse of the high school, and I ran down West Lincoln Street towards the job site and said, Dad, you finally got a girl. Our little sister Marie was born that day. Little Harry says, speaking of schools, we did a lot of work laying brick for McKendree School and Flora's Junior High, as well as North Clays Junior High. We also were called to do work on Olney Central College and Wabash Junior College. Charles says, what about hospitals? They seem to take up a lot of our time, too. We helped on St. Louis Anthony's Hospital, Centraea's Hospital, and Salem's Hospital. Also, almost any church in town that has brick work, we worked on, too. Bill says, then there were businesses, Dairy Queen, Burger King, what is now Car Corral, Oil Belt Church Camp. Little Harry says, and don't forget, any time anyone wanted a fireplace put in their house, they'd call us. Plus all of the brick homes we built in Clay, Richland, and Marion County. Bill says, hey guys, whose house we going together to play for cards? Coming to mine tonight? Henry says, you guys need to get back to work and quit your yakking. If you think there's going to be any card playing tonight, I told you already, we got another brick job tacked on to our mile-long list. And then he turns to the wagon and he says, hey folks, thanks for taking the time out to listen to our story. Y'all better move along before the legendary Hemp Hill arguments break out. Have a good evening. So that is what our cemetery tour is like.
That's all in first person. It's all in first person. It's them as if they are them. And in the moonlight and the lights, it's believable that these people are there telling you about their life story. It's very interesting. More
because Connor is the spitting image of my dad, and my son Connor played my dad. You cannot believe the people that were like, oh my gosh. Oh my!
It felt like he was really there.
It was like Bill was standing there. If Connor had something over his head, you'd have thought my dad was standing. So many people. I can't tell you. Several messages were like, that was really your dad. You know, it was really bad. Plus, you know, and then like people are sending me photos of all the fireplaces. Hey, your dad built my dad. Your dad did this. Your dad did this. Your dad. And then my phone just started binging up of all.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure he built my fireplace at my house.
He did. Yeah. Oh yeah. So everybody was like, so the buildings that they built, almost every single brick, and not to mention tuck pointing and the theater. I mean, there was just tuck. Yeah, it's just amazing what they did. They were very talented at what they did. But we need to take a commercial break, and I'm going to let you do your story.
Okay.
And then I'll do the story that I did. We'll be right back.
At Clay County Hospital, we are dedicated to providing quality care for you and your family. Our skilled medical team is committed to your well-being, ensuring that you receive the personalized attention you deserve. From filling your prescriptions at our state-of-the-art pharmacy to a visit with our compassionate behavioral health providers, we're here to support you every step of the way in your journey. Experience the difference at Clay County Hospital, where your health is our priority. Clay County Hospital, complete care, start to finish.
Tomorrow. Some fear the uncertainty it brings. Some trust the promise it holds. At Grinnell Mutual, we are always looking forward to tomorrow, growing and innovating. So even if the plans you have for the future aren't the same as the plans that the future holds for you, you can be ready. Because we'll be ready, like we have been for over 100 years. Trust in that. Trust in tomorrow. Talk to your mutual agent today.
Your local agent is on the square. Louisville, Clay County Farmers Mutual Insurance.
At Clay City Banking Company, we're all on the same team, regardless of zip code. At home, work, school, or across the country, you can be part of our team with our cutting-edge mobile banking products. From your hand, you can check balances, transfer money, make deposits, and pay bills. Looking for a loan? We've got you covered with our mortgage, agriculture, commercial, and consumer loans. Join our team today. Clay City, Flora, Louisville, and Fairfield Banking Companies. We're the hometown banks, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. So we're talking about the cemetery tour. Stacey read the Hemp Hill skit. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the skit I was in and read it as if you were there. Some of you may be familiar with this story because we did cover this family on our show a few months ago. And it was the Rice family. They had an extensive military history. And so all of the men in the family had served in some capacity in one of the wars. They covered every war, from the Civil War up to Iraq. I mean, they were members in World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam.
Is that the ones that are lined up all the way? That one group of brothers that are all lined up right there at the very end before you go into the far west side.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why.
Yeah.
I thought that was where they
that
were
was a separate skit that was just about the military history of that family. And in that skit, they would say, I'm not going to read their whole skit, but they would say, hey, you might see my wife Nina later tonight. Okay, so then the wagon, which is a big car trailer full of straw bales, and there's probably like 30 people on each one. It kind of turns the corner. They come around to a different section of the cemetery, and then they pull up in front of me. And I'm sitting at a kitchen table, like I said earlier, with the tablecloth. We had an old oil lamp in the center to add a little ambiance.
Yes.
We had dishes on our table. We had some old Pyrex that had fried chicken, so we could all pass, and we're all sitting around the table. And so I played Nina Cox Rice Mann was her name. She ended up getting remarried after her husband Rice passed away. And then we had my daughter in real life, Malia, was playing my daughter here, Nina Jenny Rice McCormick, and then Liam Bailey played one of my sons, Harrison Eugene Rice. They called him Buddy, and he died when he was 17. And then Kaylee Bailey played my daughter, Ruth Rice, and then Kelsey Cox played my daughter, Kitty Rice. And then I had two little boys, and I'm going to read this story to you, so if you don't remember the show from a few months ago, it might ring a bell, it might not. But I had two little boys that were in an accident together. And one of them was 9 and one of them was 5. Due to the fact that it's really hard to keep a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old occupied in the cemetery for that long. Like, none of us actors want children out there. It's just not feasible.
It's too much, yeah.
It's too much for them. I had my neighbor boys read the part. In fact, I can probably pull it up. And so then I had a Bluetooth speaker back behind me. So then when it was time to have the boys say something, I just hit play.
Oh, no way.
And then it sounded like they were playing behind us. So I'm going to read it, and then I'll hit play when I need to. So it starts off with me, Nina Rice, and she's wiping her hands. I had a kitchen towel. I'd been getting the chicken ready. And I say, good evening, I'm Nina Rice. Now, I know you met my husband, Lewis, a few minutes ago. He's a fine man, a brave man, a good fireman, and we sure loved living in our house on West 8th Street in Flora. We had 8 children in that house, and some of them are here with us tonight. And I would point at all my children around me. But if you ask me what kept the family running, it was this kitchen and my fried chicken recipe. And I'd point at the fried chicken, and I had a recipe card in my hand. And then my daughter Kitty would say, and too many blankets, Mama. She'd say, I'm her daughter Kitty. Have you ever spent the night at her house? It felt like she was trying to smother us with love and quilts, mostly quilts. And she had a quilt with her. And this information that I got for this skit was directly from Nina's granddaughter in real life. She told me about all of the blankets and quilts, and when she would tuck you in at night, you'd just smother because you were so hot. And I'd say, oh, hush, Kitty. It was cold in that old house. Besides, you were always running off somewhere. Age 16, hopping on a train to California to marry Morris Holmes. What were you thinking, scaring me to death like that? And Kitty says, I was thinking love doesn't wait, and I was right. We were married for 62 years, Mama.
Wow.
I wanted to marry him before he went off to serve in the Korean War. And then Ruth, the other daughter, pipes up, and she's writing in a notebook. And she said, I included that in my story, about you running off. I added it in with all of the other interesting things about our family, and I sent it to Pauline Colborn, who wrote for the Flora paper. And folks still ask me about it. I'm Ruth Rice, Kitty's older sister. So all of this is from actual research. Like, I had the article in the paper that Ruth had written, and all of the other stuff is from interviews with the living family that's still alive today. Then I say, the mother, of course you did. Ruth's always scribbling in some notebook. Have you written about my fried chicken recipe yet? And she kind of giggles and she says, it's already in the headline. Flora matriarch serves up history, one drumstick at a time. And then everybody kind of laughs. And then you hear this.
I'm going to get you. No, you can't. What, guys, wait for me. You'll never catch me, burglar Gary. I'm too fast. I'm not a burglar. You are. I'm the sheriff. Pow, pow. Pow, 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 pow.
Okay. So they're off
like
in the
it.
background playing cops and robbers. And I say, hey, you two, knock it off. You know I don't like that game. You see, we had a terrible tragedy in our home in 1924. I had left my two boys at home while I went to the funeral for Colonel Smith. He was a prominent Flora citizen back then. While I was at the funeral, my boys, Gary, age 9, and Archie, age 5, decided to play burglar. It was their version of cops and robbers. We all called Archie Little Duck. His big brother, he might have met him earlier tonight, was Big Duck. During the game, they decided to switch from their toy guns to the gun we had hanging in the hallway of the house. Gary didn't know it was loaded. And see, at this time, I would start crying, fake crying. I'd be like, Gary didn't know it was loaded. He accidentally shot and killed Archie. It was the worst day of my life. And I'm not trying to be like dramatic to be funny. Like, it's very
bad.
tragic, sad story. And it was easy to get emotional about it because
I would have
this
cried,
poor
really.
woman, I can't even imagine. She says, it was the worst day of my life. Archie is buried right here in Elmwood next to me and his father, his grandparents, and so many other Rices. Then Ruth says, Archie had the sweetest laugh. Even when he got in trouble, he'd just smile like he knew you would forgive him. He was the sweetest little boy you would ever meet, and so was Gary. Poor kid. He struggled so much after the accident. Now Gary is buried in Washington State. He lived to be 88 years old, one of the oldest men in the family. Most of the men in our family had died by the time they were in their 50s. Okay, so then I'd hit play again.
I'm so sorry. Forgive me. I forgive you, friend.
And that was the end of the little boy's lines. And then enters Liam playing Harrison Rice. And Liam comes in carrying a towel. And he'd been hanging out in the back in the shadows. No one could see him. And then he walks through and he says, hey, anyone want to go swimming at Charlie Brown Park? Oh, hi. He looks at the wagon. He says, oh, hi. I'm Harrison Eugene Rice, but everyone calls me Buddy. I'm named after my grandpa and my dad. I think you might have just met them because, see, they were at the skit right before. Have you told them about me yet, Mama? And he looks at me. And I say, no, I was just telling them about your brother's accident. I hadn't even gotten to yours yet. And then Harrison goes on to tell his story, and he says, sadly, I wasn't the only Rice boy to die at a young age. Archie here died at age 5. Gary lived to be 88, but I only lived to be 17. Some friends and I all went swimming at Charlie Brown Park. It was a hot day in 1942. Rumor was there was going to be some pretty girls at the park that day, too. And all of the boys were fooling around and jumping in the water, and I decided to climb up on the bridge. You've probably seen it. It's still there. It crosses over the spillway. I stood up on the edge of it and made a perfect dive off of it. Except it wasn't perfect. I hit the bottom of the lake before I even knew what happened. Broke my neck. Some buddies pulled me out. I fought for my life. I hated to leave my poor mama and daddy with the loss of another son. But I succumbed to my injury the next day. I'm buried right here in Elmwood. My headstone even says Buddy on it. And then Nina, Jenny, my daughter Nina, she pipes in and says he was just 17. And I say that was the year the air in the house got real still. The house got really quiet. 2 of my boys gone by then. But you just keep cooking and you keep loving, and that's really all you can do. So then we have the chicken on the table. And then Nina Jenny, the little Nina, says, I'm Nina Jenny Rice, the last Rice child for you to meet tonight. I was named after my mama. I live to be 87 years old and am buried in Ogle County, Illinois. Thanks so much for listening to our family's stories of military service, tragedy, family life, and fried chicken. And then Kitty says, and I live to be 85 years old and I'm buried in Fairfield. I raised a family there, still have kids and grandkids there, retired from Champion Laboratories, and had a wonderful life. I remember fondly my childhood in Flora. It truly is such a wonderful little town full of so much history. Please don't forget all of us who have lived here before you. Then Ruth says, and I live to be 67 years old, and I'm buried in Will County, Illinois. The tragedies didn't stop with my brothers. I, too, knew the pain of losing 2 children, but that's a story for another day. And then I say, come on now, everybody sit down, gather around. We've got a story to tell, and let's eat this chicken before it gets cold. And then Kitty says, that's Mama's way of saying I love you, but with food. And Ruth says, and if you're lucky, a second helping. So at that time, we all start passing the chicken around, putting it on our plate, and we say thank you, and the wagon leaves.
We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Since 2004, Ed Lewis Trucking has been moving America forward. Family owned and built on values that matter. Reliability, hard work, and service you can count on. From dry van freight to dump and hopper bottoms, plus top tier truck maintenance in their state-of-the-art shop that's open to all truckers, not just their own fleet. They're growing stronger, expanding with their recent acquisition of McKinney Trucking, but never losing sight of what drives them. It's Ed Lewis Trucking, family driven, service proven. Call Ed Lewis Trucking at 618-686-3555.
My name is Robin Stanford. I own Stanford Marketing. It's a promotional products business along with an embroidery business. And we do custom hats, t-shirts, anything, you name it, we can make it. People like that we do stuff in-house and we can actually make things here and that we're not contracting the work out to other places. We never say no. We always try to find a way to do it. If anybody can do it, we can do it. We are hardworking women, that is for sure. Come to Stanford Marketing in Flora for all your custom and promotional needs.
Jimmy ordered lumber, doors, paint, windows, electrical, plumbing, and much more. Oh yeah, Jimmy ordered guns too.
John Lucas.
What?
You better be dreaming about all the stuff we sell here at Zink Building Center.
Oh, I would. Zink Building Center in Louisville on Route 45. It's a cool place.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. So we're talking about the cemetery tour, and I just went over my skit, and it was a sad and tragic one. But the way that it's lined up is there's usually a sad and tragic one, but then the next one might be a mystery or a military or a murder or something, or even sometimes there's a little, I know it sounds crazy to have humor in there, but we can throw humor in too. We try not to put too many heavy ones really right in a row.
Yeah, because you need to have something. Because it can get pretty. Yeah. So the skit that I did is Eliza Keeler Martin. And the title of it is Legend, Lore, or Lies. And Eliza Keeler Martin is actually my real great-grandmother. And so I'm going to read mine and just tell you what Eliza's story is. And I did throw it, I don't know. When I was by myself, when you're by yourself, as long as you know your information, I kind of, You
can kind of ad-lib and change it.
I ad-libbed some stuff, and I did some funny, I don't know. It was just, and then I'll just read it. It says,
okay.
Good evening. We all have some skeletons in our closet, right? It's true. Maybe some families have a few more than others. Do you ever feel like when it comes to your family, sometimes you're told things that may or may not have actually happened? Or do you ever feel like information has been withheld from you for some reason? And then at this point, I start going,
oh. Okay.
And I can't remember what I said. I said something.
Okay.
I was like, that's how my story ends, but here's how it begins.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah, I did. Because I was like, I said, first let me tell you how my story ends. And I choked myself. And I'm like, but that's not my beginning.
That's cool. That leaves him wanting more.
Okay. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I twisted it.
See, I didn't get to see her do this because I was in another spot. So go ahead.
Yeah, because I didn't like the "What are you looking at?" I skipped that line. My name is Eliza Keeler Martin. I was the mother of 5 children. You may have heard the name of one of my daughters, Iris Martin, in a skit from earlier this evening. I was married to William Martin when I was 19, and I thought we were very happy. Very happy, that is, until I was put away in a sanatorium, and he seemed to have his eyes on a younger woman. Some say I went a little crazy. I wasn't crazy. I was just consumed with grief. Also, I had come down with a physical ailment, a very serious one that many suffered during this time, tuberculosis, a disease that there was no cure for at that time. Yes, maybe I was a little jealous too. How would you feel if your husband was pursuing someone 10 years younger than yourself, not to mention she was 14 years younger than him? Oh, well, anyway, they felt I should take a little trip. Everyone at my new home, which for some reason they kept calling a hospital, was jealous of me. You've got to realize I was still young and vibrant, a beautiful woman. Maybe just not as young as my husband's new love interest, though, mind you. Also, the rumor mill really started spinning because my new lodging was part sanatorium and part mental hospital. I was just there to get rest, fresh air, and attempt to get well. At my new residence, I would still rise early and get myself ready for the day. I would rise early when I could, that is, if I got any sleep at all the night before. I swear, most nights there were patients, as the help insisted for some reason calling us, who would cough, wail, or scream all night for no apparent reason. And then, of course, I ad-libbed. I don't know. It was crazy. That place was simply nuts. Of course, I had that. That's funny.
That's funny.
It was important for me to look nice, though, because my goal was to get out of there and get my darling husband, William, back. He had no business with that younger woman. Every morning, after applying my lipstick, and I do that, I would always like to accessorize. And then I had this big, gaudy diamond and sapphire necklace because my great-grandmother had this necklace she wore all the time. I would fasten the only accessory that I was able to sneak in and bring with me, my beautiful necklace of diamonds and sapphires, a gift from my darling husband, William. And then I picked it up and bit into it. Who knows if it was real or not? He had been known to lie about a few other things. Yes, some of the residents, the ones that I thought might have any sense about them at all, were quite envious of my beautiful necklace. I didn't care. I once had nice things, and it was still important to look nice because I knew any day William was going to come through that door and get me. Well, one day I didn't wake up, and then I removed my necklace. The necklace was gone, and there were bruises all over my throat reaching around my neck. Do you know what my new home, a.k.a. hospital, said? I died of a heart attack in my sleep. I'm telling you, that place was chaos. They didn't know what was going on. I didn't get a decent night's sleep the entire time I was there, and all of those workers should have been fired. And then it says that I was like, my tomb, I am buried here in Elmwood. And then I would turn around and tell them, because she's literally on the very first entrance. I'm way, way, way over there. I said, if you look me up online, there are discrepancies to the date of my death. And there are discrepancies in the cause of her death. So apparently, when you look up Eliza, there's like 2 or 3 dates she may have died, and 2 or 3 different ways. And then it says, no, I never made it back to William, but you will find his tombstone right here in Elmwood with that younger woman. Then I went, Viola, wife number 2, buried right beside him. And then I would say where they were at, because they were just right over there. So what really happened? Is my story legend or lore? Is it truth or lies? Or is it the truth that someone wanted to simply sweep under the rug and keep from generations to come? I'll tell you one thing. No one was talking. No one is talking. And then I put, and I sure ain't talking. I know what's true, but I'll let you decide what you think. Is it fact or fiction?
Yeah, that's so good. So how old was her daughter when she died? Your grandmother.
Well, I don't know how old Iris is. Eliza was only 42.
Yeah, I just wondered if Iris had already gotten married at 14. She's the one that got married to your grandpa at 14.
Yeah.
Like, did she marry at 14 because her mom had died?
I don't know. I'll have to do some date.
Yeah, you have to
because
look at
Eliza
dates.
was 42. I've got all the tombstones back there, so I was going to do that when I had a little bit of time to do that. But yeah, so Eliza's story. So the necklace was never found. She didn't. She was 43 years old. She was a perfectly healthy woman. She had bruises all over her neck. Her necklace was gone. They had her on the mental side. Chances are somebody killed her.
What
for
year
her
did
necklace.
she die?
I can't remember. I'll have to.
Oh,
look
it's not
it
at the top of that in the.
No.
Oh, okay. Usually the writers put that in the top.
No,
Okay.
I'll let you know here.
Oh, okay.
When we get done with this
Okay.
episode, I'll let you know. Yeah, because we can do the math on it because I got pictures of their tombstone. But yeah, it was really cool picture. Of course, I had family. There was a lot of hempills that came through because, like, this is my dad's grandmother, my great-grandmother. And my oldest cousin, Kai Hempill, who's one of the oldest ones, Little Harry was his dad, so he remembers a lot of the grandparents and stuff. I don't. Everybody was passed before I was born. And I asked him, I said, so what do you know about Eliza Martin? He was like, who? Mm-hmm. And he remembers Iris, and he remembers Grandpa, and he remembers Iris, because Grandpa died young. And so he was like, who? So they never talked about Eliza. And I told you Aunt Marie didn't want me doing the story on Eliza, but so I did it anyway because it's a cool story. But there's no way a 42-year-old died of a heart attack in her sleep. Not with a necklace being gone and bruises all over her throat. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was murdered for a necklace. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting. It's just interesting how my family never did.
And that happened at Choate in Anna, the Anna Center. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, so interesting. So that would be, but I also want to look into William too, because Eliza was 42 when she died. Viola, the second wife, they didn't have any children. Granted, he had 5 children with Eliza. Oh, and I did make that comment. You'd think he'd want to be married next to the woman that gave him 5 children.
Yeah, no.
But no, he's buried next to Viola, and they didn't have children, and she was like 41 or 42 when she died, and he lived to be in his 80s.
So what was the last name? William what?
William Martin.
Okay.
Yeah, they're out there. I've got a picture of his tombstone too.
Okay.
So we'll have to do some fancy digging on him because I don't know. I'm wondering what old Grandpa. All I know is that my dad's name's William John, so he's named after his grandpa. Mm-hmm. And both grandpas. He's named after John Hempill, who ended up not being the greatest guy in the world. He's buried. And he's William, who basically put his wife away and never to go back and see her again. Mm-hmm. So my dad, who is the greatest man on earth, literally. Mm-hmm. But we're going to have to end it today because we're coming down to the wire. We're not going to have time to do Here's Your Sign.
Oh, okay. Eliza died in 1920.
Yeah.
And Iris, I don't know when she got married.
Okay, well, we'll figure that out later.
Okay.
But we can't even do Here's Your Sign.
Okay, thanks for joining us. It was so much fun. See you later. Bye.
Have a great